Yesterday, I joined hundreds of people walking to find a cure for type 1 diabetes, and it just reminded me of how amazing this community is. Yesterday, I attended the walk with Breakthrough T1D. They host an annual walk in most cities to support driving awareness for type 1 diabetes and helping to raise money for people living with type 1 diabetes, specifically children living with type 1 diabetes. And if that doesn't pull at your heartstrings, it should, because children living with type 1 diabetes is absolutely terrible, probably the worst thing on earth. And we should all be out there supporting the community, supporting each other through this type 1 diabetes awareness moment. Now, I was not diagnosed as a kid. I was actually diagnosed as an adult. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 29. And so I don't know what it's like to experience type 1 diabetes as a kid. And so you may be thinking, Samantha, why are you joining a, little kid event with little kids with type 1 diabetes running around? And really JDRF, used to be JDRF, Breakthrough T1D, they support kids living with type 1 diabetes. And to be honest, I attend these events, one, to just support my community. I mean, I do understand what other people living with type 1 diabetes goes through, but really it's just to support the little kids that live with type 1 diabetes. I can't imagine what it would be like to live with type 1 diabetes when you're 5, 6, 7 years old. And honestly, going to these walks and seeing the little kids in their blue capes and their, blue outfits and everything that they're wearing and wearing all the CGMs, all the pumps, it honestly, one, breaks my heart. It really makes me sad. I don't like it because it's so unfortunate that kids live with type 1 diabetes. And at these walks, it's kind of all in your face. All these kids are covered in their devices and it's really sad, but it also is so powerful to be there and to see them thriving. And it's really, really great. And I just want to be there also to support them while also supporting myself, because I live with type 1 diabetes every moment of every single day, just like all of you. And I want to be there to support myself because I deal with it. But really, I am there to support the kids and just bring back to the community as much as I possibly can. So many people raised so much money for this event, and I am so happy that they took initiative to do that. And I just want to say thank you to all the people that raised money for Breakthrough T1D's event, because it is life-changing. We all know it's a life-changing disease, but it's also life-changing that you're doing this and you're taking action and you're spreading awareness about type 1 diabetes and you're bringing money back to the organization that is helping people who live with this disease. So it's just so great that we are all in this together. And thank you so much if you participated in any of the T1D events. I unfortunately showed up later than I wanted to yesterday at the walking event. Honestly, it was crazy parking, and typically I would probably be very mad in this situation, but I was actually so happy that I couldn't find a parking spot. And you may be thinking, okay, Samantha, you are crazy. Why would you be happy about that? But honestly, that just means that so many people came to this event that there are so many people supporting type 1 diabetics, and that is so amazing. And so I couldn't find parking and I got there later than I wanted, but I'm so happy to see that there were so many people there that I couldn't even get a parking spot. And so when we did arrive, there was music playing, there was people walking around everywhere, adults, young kids, all wearing capes, everybody's wearing blue, and it was absolutely so amazing. We had some awesome vendors there. I got some cool wristband things that said Breakthrough T1D, and it was really great to just run into friends and run into family and just see everyone there supporting each other. I mean, truly, I think my favorite part is just seeing the little kids everywhere. Like I mentioned earlier, it is heartbreaking for sure, but they're happy. These kids are happy. They're running around. They're having fun. And you're like, this is so great because they're living a normal life. They're living the life that they're supposed to live. They're kids, right? They're supposed to be running around, acting crazy. And I just loved it. I think it's so cute. And all their family members supporting, Also just so absolutely wonderful. When I ran the New York City Marathon with Beyond Type 1, another Type 1 diabetes organization, we all chose a mission. Like, why are we running this race, right? Like, what is the purpose behind this race? And mine was for the kids. It's always been for the kids because, no offense, if you're an adult that lives with Type 1, don't get me wrong, I know it's freaking hard every single day. It's still hard for adults, but we are able to control it ourselves, right? Like, we can do things that make it better or worse, and it's all on us for the most part. Kids are different. Kids are so different. They're still learning how life works, let alone like figuring out blood sugar. Like, can you even imagine? And so I just think there's so much power in like helping kids that live with Type 1 because they need the help. They're trying to figure out life in general. Like, life is so confusing when you're a kid. You have no idea what's going on, and then you get thrown Type 1 diabetes on top of it. It's like, that is crazy. And so I really just always want to be supporting the kids as much as I possibly can. I want to help kids as much as I possibly can. I didn't even have Type 1 when I was a kid, and life was hard, okay? So can you imagine? And I know some of my listeners had Type 1 diabetes when you were kids. And I know it was even harder back then because you didn't have pumps. And I mean, you had pumps, but nothing like today's pumps. And so there's something I really feel passionate about when it comes to kids living with Type 1 diabetes. And I'm just so happy that I was able to attend the walk yesterday with Breakthrough T1D. So how can you support Type 1 diabetics? Well, one, I think you got to start with yourself, right? Like, make sure you're taking best care of yourself living with Type 1 diabetes, because that is so important, right? Like, we have to control our own blood sugars and take care of ourselves in the best way that we possibly can. But then number two is support your community. Find friends in your area and support them. Everybody has their own diabetes story, and they might need help at certain times when you're thriving with diabetes. They may need help. And so I think, connecting with others, one, will just help you as a person, like being able to connect with somebody that understands what you're going through, but then also being able to help people living with Type 1 diabetes, even just being their support system, is like so crucial. I mean, you can always join a Breakthrough T1D Walk and meet people that way. I know there's a ton of other groups out there nowadays. Social media has been a godsend when it comes to just connecting with other diabetics. And so you can do that way. And I just really think having a community of Type 1 diabetics is so important, because nobody else is really going to get you. Even the endocrinologists, they are not going to get you like other Type 1 diabetics will understand what you're going through. Thank you so much for tuning in to this video today and listening and hearing about how you can support others living with Type 1 diabetes. I will see you guys next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye.